Hi, I'm Mitch Gallagher. Welcome to GearFest 2018. We're here in the video studio with a special guest. This is Butch Walker.
How you doing, man?
Great to see you.
Good to see you, Mitch.
Glad to
thanks
have
for
you
having
here.
me.
Yeah.
Good to see you in person. I'm always seeing you on YouTube and everywhere else. So,
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So you're here with Universal Audio. You're going to be doing a panel discussion, right?
Yeah, we're doing a little panel discussion. Maybe playing a little guitar. We'll see. That everybody's got their guitars, and we're kind of promoting, silently promoting the aux, which is an insane box. I love it.
Yeah.
It's been a game changer in the studio. It's great.
No doubt. I can't wait to check that out. I think it's going to be fun to
so good.
check that. You got a bunch of great players with you as well.
Yeah,
it's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm sort of chopped liver on this thing.
No.
I mean, these guys that I'm with, it's like, I don't know why they asked me to even bring a guitar. I should
it's going to be great.
Sit there. But yeah, I mean, I finally got to meet several of them, Tim Pierce and Lyle Workman and Buddy Miller, and it's pretty awesome. And I know Corey from back in Nashville as well. So
sure, yeah, that's going to be fun. Right on. So I have to say, you have one of the more multifaceted careers of anybody I've ever interviewed, with the songwriting and the guitar playing and your solo career and producing and documentary films.
1987 checker champion.
Yeah, checker champion and book author, and you're covering the whole spectrum, aren't you?
I don't like to be bored.
Yeah, no doubt.
Although I'm starting to embrace it in my old age.
Yeah.
But like
embracing boredom?
Yeah, I'm embracing that fleeting moment of boredom now. But better busy than bored, I guess they always say. So
yeah, sure.
Yeah, I took on producing records. I'm going to just make up a question that you didn't ask me, and I'm going to answer it.
How did you get into producing records?
They're perfect. I didn't like being bored with the downtime, because as an artist and touring artist, and you're putting out records, there's all this downtime of okay, well, we're not making a record and we're not touring. What the hell am I going to do with myself?
Right.
And luckily, I started producing my own music in bands back when I was a kid on a 4-track cassette recorder. I had like a Tascam. Can't remember if it was a 224. I'm drawing a blank, but it's been a long time since then, so I can't really remember. But I learned, by trial and error, the art of multi-tracking, and had my parents. They had a antique shop where they sold antiques in the backyard, and I used that as my rehearsal band room.
Nice.
And so learned all that, and then just one thing led to another. 8-track, 16-track, just kind of funding and putting all the money back into recording gear, and ended up with my own studio, and then I never really thought I would go into producing records full time until my old band had a hit on the radio that was like kind of a fluke alternative hit, and I produced it and recorded it all myself, and it was all over the radio, so people were starting to call me and go like, hey, who recorded that? Oh, I did. Who produced it? I did.
Right.
Who wrote it? Oh, I did. And so people started asking me to do that for their acts as well. Labels were calling and wanting me to do it for other artists, and so I did, and cut to here I am. I for some reason I'm still doing it. So
obviously tremendous success with Taylor Swift, Weezer, Fall Out Boy, Panic at the Disco. I mean, the list is incredible.
Fun. Yeah, it's been fun. I'm really lucky to still get to work. I like it.
Yeah. Well, you're great at it.
Appreciate it.
So as a producer, when do you come into the process? Do you like to start at the very beginning and work through pre-production, or do you come in later, or how does that work?
Yeah, I'm a very hands-on kind of a thing. I don't really particularly enjoy missing anything, Mr. FOMO. So I don't want to be absent for any part of the creative process, including miking the drums if there's drums on it, doing every bit of it if I can. I mean, I'm kind of a little bit of a control freak, I guess, to a fault, but at the same time, I really enjoy being around the creative process. And I know some producers, they get to the point where they've had some success and then they stop coming in as much and leave it to other people to do. And I wouldn't be good at that, because, like I said, it'd be fear of missing out on something, as well as to get the sound and the vision that I have in my head for something. I've got to do it.
Right.
So I'm still doing 90% of my own engineering, and even playing a lot of the instruments, and to me, that's just, it's too much fun to miss out on that.
Right.
So
That was actually my next question, is how much you feel you participate in the actual creation, the playing the instruments and doing the recording and being able to kind of step back and maintain perspective on all that.
Yeah, I mean, it's different for every record, and I like that there's not a specific process. I mean, if it's a solo artist, sometimes they're relying on me to be the band. And so I'll be recording everything from real drums, programming drums, playing bass, doing the backup vocals. And to me, it's just an extension of playing in my own sandbox as a kid, of being able to just get in there and get my hands dirty with it. And then sometimes I'm in there with a very accomplished full act that all are amazing players and singers, and I'm just steering the ship and being like, okay, well, that's cool. What if we edit this part of the song down or add 4 bars to this? Or, it's very trial by fire every record.
Right. Right. So as on the songwriter side of that, do you have a library of songs that you've written, or do you write for specific artists, or do they come up per project?
I will co-write on stuff if I'm invited to the party. I don't come into a record and just start strong arming the songs. If I feel like the songs are there, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? So there's that, and I also know that it's different for every artist. Like, some people are very protective and very passionate and proud of what they do and don't want any hands in the cookie jar, and they want to be able to be the ones doing everything, all the songwriting and the heavy lifting. And by all means, if the song is 100%, then there's no need to mess with that. But sometimes I come in and people are like, hey, will you help me? I need to write a song like this or like that, or we need something like this for the record. And sometimes that presents itself at the beginning or at the very end of a record that you've recorded. And I like I said, there's just no process. It's just however it comes. But yeah, I've never really written songs for other people. If I get an idea, I'll either write it down or record it real quick, and then I'll kind of sit back and go, well, I don't see myself recording this song. Maybe somebody else will.
Right.
And that rarely works out, because usually the songs that you write with other people, you're doing it in the room with them. Rarely am I bringing in a song and saying, here's a done song. Why don't you just say that it's you?
Right.
That's a little hard to sell on people too. So I think it's just all like I said, there's no rule book. So
right. Do you recognize at first glance whether a song is going to be a hit, or when does it become apparent to you that you've got a successful song?
No, I mean, I've been wrong so many times where I think and this is just when you grow up addicted to music and you appreciate the intricacies and the details of something. Sometimes you'll get very moved as a producer or a musician by something in a song that the rest of the world cannot relate to at all.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll be like, man, this recording is so good. Well, it's a recording, but is the song so good?
Sure.
Or does this song relate to everyone else? Some of my favorite songs are songs that are not about things that everyone can relate to. Sometimes they're very personal, and you realize those are not going to be all over the radio for people to hear. So it's hit and miss. I've called them wrong more than the times I've called them right, but I'm not an A&R guy.
Right.
We'll leave that to them.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right. That's why they have gigs, right?
Hopefully still. Yeah.
So one of the challenges for producers is drawing performances out of artists. Do you have tips, techniques that you use for helping an artist get comfortable?
I have a whip. I have a 12-gauge shotgun on the console. No,
right, so little inducements.
Yeah. No, I literally think that you have to make it the most fun, relaxed, easiest environment for these people as possible, because musicians are neurotic freaks. Artists are they're narcissists by nature. I know this, being one, that there's a lot of pride and a lot of insecurities and a lot of things. When the red light comes on, the whole room is looking at you. It's not an easy environment for a lot of people.
Sure.
And so the last thing they need is some producer just, making them feel uncomfortable. And I've done too many records in my youth where somebody else produced it and it was a very experience and it wasn't fun at all, and it wasn't rewarding or gratifying. And then you just leave that process going, I don't love this record. I don't care how good it is. I don't love this because the experience sucked. So I just try to make people feel good about themselves and be relaxed and keep all the egos at the door. And that it just makes the environment, you just become a band member. That's kind of my mentality. And because it could be, I say treat it like it's the last record you'll ever get to do, because it very well could be.
Sure.
You know, you could be back working at, the plant tomorrow, and that could be your only experience getting to work in a real studio with a producer and making a record. And I think that should be a great experience for someone.
All right, that's awesome. So given your success as an artist and the successful artists you've worked with, is there a defining characteristic of successful artists? What makes a great artist?
Well, I don't think success should be based on how many records you sell or stream or how many car commercials you get your music in, because that's pie in the sky aspirations. I think success is, and this may sound kind of tired to say, but it should be based on how fulfilled you are as an artist. Have you accomplished musically, lyrically, message wise, like all the things you set out to do.
Right.
I guess that's success. And also just, can you make a little bit of a living doing it? That should be success too, because man, how hard is it to make a living making music? It's not easy.
Not easy, right.
So I think that's your first goal, but it might not always be the case. And so you shouldn't make that the be all end all. More importantly, like, did you leave the world with a body of work that you're proud of?
Right, that's awesome. That's awesome. So is there a certain personality type that drives toward that?
Well, like I said, I could walk out of this room right now and go like, oh, I hate myself, I suck, but I think we're all a little bit neurotic about it. But confidence is something that takes a while to build. And I was talking to a guy on the plane yesterday who was excited about his son having to get up and play in front of an audience. He's learning to play guitar, sort of, in a band, and they played like some talent show, and the singer couldn't sing. And he was like 15, and so he stepped up and covered for him and sang. Nice. And he showed me a video, and he was so proud of his son. And I'm like, that's all you need right there. That's beautiful.
Right.
And that's also that's how you go out and kill it in this world, is you put yourself in the line of fire.
Right.
So, and that guy's going to be proud of what he did, and it's going to give him more confidence to go out there next time and not be nervous. And that's just those are all things that really matter. So you don't just stay in your bedroom the whole time because you're scared to get your art in front of people.
Right. That's the challenge, right?
It
fear
is.
Aspect of it.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't want that, and that's okay too. It's not always about. Some people don't want the accolades and don't want the recognition. So, and that's fine. But I think for the most part, people get into it because they're like, man, I saw my favorite band up on stage, and I was one of the thousands of people in the audience screaming my head off and loving it, and I'd love to be that guy on stage doing that too, or girl. And so, to me, I think deep down we all want, to have that. So,
sure.
So it takes building up your confidence and courage, I think, to be able to get up and do it. I mean, I was nervous as shit when I got up in front of a talent show when I was 15 years old and sang a Bryan Adams cover,
right.
For the first time, and but I killed it, and everybody was like really stoked on it, and so I was like, maybe I could do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it again.
Yeah, and again and again.
Right. Right on. That's awesome, man. Appreciate that.
Thank
Sharing
you.
all your words of wisdom. And we're so glad to have you here at GearFest. I know you got to go do a sound check and get ready to do
we're
some
go
playing there for UA. So
Yep.
I'm looking forward to that.
It's
a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks, Mitch.
Please come back.
I'd love
to have you visit us again.
I would love that.
And thank you for joining me here at GearFest 2018. I'm Mitch Gallagher.